Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Today it started out cloudy in the morning, but now the sun is coming out, so it looks like I'm going to get a nice full sunny day in the plant room. Today I'll be working on this Ficus benjamina. It's a tree that I'm trying to style in a tropical style canopy, but it's grown too tall and it's kind of got out of shape. So today I'm going to be doing some hard pruning on it to get it back down to size. Growing trees in a cold climate is quite difficult. In order to keep the vigor in the tree, you've got to let them grow, and that keeps enough vigor in the tree to get them through the winter. And when summer comes, you've only got 3 months of summer, so you let the tree grow as much as it can to get more vigor again to get it through the winter. So you're always kind of chasing your tail. You're letting it grow, and it grows tall and leggy, and then you prune it back, and then it grows tall and leggy again. It's hard to get that refinement where you get a nice tight branch structure on the tree because there's just not enough light in the winter to keep them really vigorous. Maybe, artificial lighting will help that. We'll see. But yeah, if you're relying on a sunny window, it's tough to keep them shaped. This tree was last pruned in spring of last year, and then it was allowed to grow all summer. And then when fall came, I brought it inside and I put it into the basement, which is quite cool. So it's been in, cold storage for quite a few months now. And now I've brought it up into the plant room and it's starting to gain its vigor. It's starting to come alive again. So I'm going to hard prune it before it starts to grow. At the moment, if I shake the tree, all the leaves start falling off. Watch this. There you go. The tree is naturally defoliating itself, and it's due for a big growth spurt. The trunk on this tree is quite nice. It's got a nice radial root base, and it's got lots of character. It's got some nice aerial roots. The top of the tree is kind of all grown too tall, so I think the hard pruning will really help the future styling of this tree. All right, I'm going to begin the pruning, the hard pruning. I'm trying to get the height of the tree down, so I'm going to, on this branch, this lowest branch, I'm going to prune off the vertical part to there. I've got, this branch sweeps way up. There's two possibilities. I could remove it entirely and just have this lowest branch here, which would look quite nice. Let me have a look. I don't know. Then we're starting to get into that single leader on a ficus. I don't like that, having one single trunk line to the apex. I like the trunk coming up to multi kind of branches. So I've got a small branch here, so I can prune this vertical section off right to here. Pretty major cut, so here I go. Like that. Then behind here I have a straight section that goes shooting skyward. There's no branches coming off of it until right up to here. And that's kind of getting a little high. I don't want that tall vertical part on it, so I'm going to take that branch off totally. And I'm going to cut it a little higher so it has room for a bit of dieback, and then later on, as this branch gains strength, I can clean up that wound. So here I go. Just like that. This tree is going to look quite different when I'm done today. Okay, so there's a branch out the back here. I've got basically 3 branches growing, well, actually more than that. I have some coming out the front too. So I have a lot of branches growing from one spot there, which is nice for that kind of, broom style. So I'll have to pick my best ones. Have a look at the tree. I've got a branch coming out front here that's kind of in the way of that junction up top, so I'm going to take that one right off. Like that. Now you can see this junction of branches up here. This branch is dead here, so I'm going to take that one off totally. This one right here, it's just dried up and dead, so it probably got shaded out, which is too bad. However, there's another branch growing here that could replace it eventually. So I've got a vertical branch here I can take off, so I'll take that one off like that. I've got a vertical branch here I could take off like that. Another one here like that. Trying to get a horizontal spread to the branches. Now, there's a little branch in here that's died. I'm just going to get that off there. I've got a branch coming up here that's getting very tall. I have another one here that's attached to the same, where the branch joins the trunk. It divides into two quickly. I'm going to do a cut on this one. If it dies off, I still have this branch out front here. So, because I'm pruning back without any foliage on the tip here. So here I go. It's just a Hail Mary cut like that. I'm going to prune the vertical section off here like that. I've got I'm thinking I should probably remove this big thick branch coming up here. I've got two branches, major branches coming off the trunk there. And I don't think I need that third branch behind. I'm pretty sure I don't. So I'm going to take it off. It's just too thick. There's a dead branch here I can remove. All right, here I go. Like that. Well, these are very tall up here. If I do a Hail Mary cut on them to kind of shorten them and they die back, I'd have to develop shoots in this region to start my canopy, which would be all right. Is it worth taking that chance? It might be. Maybe what I'll do, I'll reduce the top back, leaving some green leaves on the growing tips. And then if something develops down lower, if some shoots come off of these branches, I can then reduce it back. So I'm kind of playing it safe up here, which sometimes is a good thing to do. Like that. There's a branch kind of running parallel here. I would prune this one off if I could guarantee this branch would live, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to leave that on in case this one dies back, then I've got something in this area. Again, kind of playing it safe for now and see how it develops. Hopefully something will come out, another branch off this major trunk here. I can develop that in a better, make it a better looking branch. Yeah, so I have a few reserve branches there. In case this hard pruning doesn't work out, I can always develop these branches into a new canopy. If the hard pruning does work out, then, maybe some of these branches will get removed in the future. But yeah, I think that's about all I can do to the tree for today. I'll clean it up now. Now I'll get all these leaves removed from around the tree, and then we can step back and have a look at it and maybe talk about the design a bit. Hard pruning is always a little risky on these Ficus benjaminas. The Ficus microcarpa, you can do a hard prune anywhere and they'll back bud. They'll, break new shoots on old branches if you hard prune them back. But the Ficus benjamina is a little more sensitive. It likes to keep some green leaves at the growing tips to get that sap flow, and then you've got to kind of reduce them slowly. But so I'm not sure exactly how this hard pruning will work, but I'm hoping it works out well. We'll get the tree on the turntable too, so we can rotate it around and see how it's looking. There may be a better front for it. My spinning tree bonsai turntable. Get the tree up on it. All right, let's have a look at it now. I'm looking at the tree from the present front right now. Yeah, definitely those big long shoots up top. I'm hoping I can prune those back later on to make sort of a rounded shape up here, like about there. So I'm hoping that happens, that I get some back budding and I can prune those branches back safely. That thick curving branch off to the right hand side back in here, it goes a little too vertical, but that may change in future as that branch thickens a bit. It may look better as it sort of blends into more of a horizontal type branch. But I don't know. It's overall, it's coming along okay, I'd say. I'm not real struck. Maybe there's a better front. Let's rotate the tree around and I'll look for a better front for it. All right, I'll rotate the tree around and I'm looking for a front that might be better than what's on there. It's not bad here in the corner, so somewhere around there I think is better. This is more of a back branch. I think that's a better front somewhere around here. The back, there's some pretty big nasty scars on it, which, they're all right. It's just maybe, in a few more years when they're healing up more, that is a possibility to show this is the front, but rather make it more of a gnarly old tree than this side, which is a little smoother. There's still some good pruning scars on it, but it's a little smoother on this side. Yeah, so I'm liking, the only kind of front I like is maybe looking in here, is sort of that kind of a view. I think is a better front than the current flat on front. So more like that. Yeah, so when I repot it next, I'll rotate it around a bit and get that better front showing. And yeah, we'll see how it fills in. Maybe I'll get a whole bunch of new branches growing everywhere, and I can get all kinds of new choices for, establishing better branches in the future. I have one more Ficus benjamina tree that I can hard prune down, and that's my root over temple planting. So I'll get that out now. This ficus was also allowed to grow in the summer. I brought it in, put it in cold storage, and now it's into the warmth of the plant room. So I hope it's ready for another explosion of growth. So I'm going to hard prune it down, trying to get a better structure to the branches. I'll look at all the branches and see if I can reduce them down, replacing them with better ones to try and get a more compact canopy on this tree, which may or may not be possible. There's this big long one that shoots straight up here. I've got some nice branching coming from lower. I could prune it right off, which I might do. Yeah, a lot of possible big cuts coming today on this one. It also has a lot of leaves that are falling off. Ficuses don't like a change of environment. They like a nice steady temperature. So if they're suddenly brought in from, the the cold to the warmth, they tend to lose all their leaves and then they grow them back. So yeah, it looks really vigorous, this tree. It had a good summer of growth. All right, let's get the pruners out and I'll start the pruning process. I've got the camera off to the side a bit because I'll be looking at the tree from the front view. So I'm hoping I don't get in the way of the camera too much. So yeah, I've got this big long shoot coming up here, and I've got a lot of lower branches coming off down here. So I could remove that tall shoot entirely. And I'm thinking I should. It's getting quite thick. I can always grow, more branches in the future. But I don't know, that one's just looking really tall. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of it. So here I go. And I'll leave a little bit for dieback. So it'll be a bit stumpy at the moment, but all right, off it goes. Done. So that's going to change the appearance of the tree quite a bit when it's shorter like this. This branch, it kind of zigzags up and it's low, but it's quite wide. Maybe I can just reduce it back a bit. I don't know. It's an interesting branch. I don't like, at the back here, there's this one branch that kind of comes off to the side. I don't like that at all. I'm going to get rid of that. So I've got a shoot behind here I can prune back to, so I'll do that. So off it goes, like that. And yeah, I'm not so sure. This branch, I do have a branch out the back here, which you probably can't see, but I could prune it right back and regrow that. And I think I will. Again, I'll leave a bit of a stub for dieback. Here I go. Like that. That's getting the tree a lot more compact. It's time to get out the scissors now and do a bit of cleanup pruning. Here's what the tree looks like from the front now. Quite a bit different. I've got a lot of branches coming out from the trunk here. And I guess that was because I did some hard pruning on it before and it caused a lot of branches to appear on the trunk, which is good. It's kind of exactly what I wanted, and I hope the same thing happens today. The more choices you have in branches, the better you can style your trees. I'm going to remove 2 of them. Like that. I'm going to rotate the tree around to the back. You'll see what's happening with the branches. I've got a whole fan of branches coming out from one spot. Here's a close-up of the back here, and you can see there's, from this one spot, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 branches going from one spot. So I'll pick the most radial that's coming straight out from the trunk, so not this one. That one goes. And not this one. That kind of cleans that area up a bit. I've got a branch in this area here that needs a bit more cleaning up. That kind of cleans that branch structure up. Gives me 2 choices in the future. Maybe in the future one of these will come off. I think that's about it for today. Depending how the tree reacts, if it explodes and new shoots all over, then I can go in and do further branch selection. If it doesn't explode in new shoots, I'll just use these branches that I have and try and get a nice shape to the tree. Yeah, well, let's have a look at it from the front once again. I'm looking at the tree from the front now, and gone is the big sprawling branch pattern. It's definitely a bit tighter now, which is good. I think I can then develop those fine branches in the future. I think it'll look quite nice, having the thick trunk, and as I develop the branches, they'll blend in nicely. I'll get that secondary branch structure. The branches that were on it were just too thick and heavy. It needed to be hard pruned back like this and then regrow the canopy. A lot of development to go on this tree. This started out as a cutting, and It was planted over that temple many, many years ago. Probably getting close to 20 years, I'd say. Yeah, so a lot of work to go on this tree, but yeah, some steps I think in the right direction today. Quite a hard pruning, but I think, in years in the future, I'll be glad I did this hard pruning to get it compact once again. I recently hard pruned my Ficus microcarpa, the one in the Vietnam style bonsai pot, and it's doing exactly what I wanted it to do. After the hard pruning, it's exploding with new buds and new shoots all over the old branches and the trunk. Let's go in and have a look at it. It's nice to see this tree reacting like this, so I've got a lot of choices for branches and finer branches. I think it'll really make this tree look quite miniature. It's nice to see something that started out life as a regular houseplant from a grocery store, and it turned into something that's starting to look like a nice bonsai. And that is all for today from the bright, sunny plant room. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.